who's made an object? Piece of art. Who's made multiples of that same object? Anyone? At what scale? Tens of an object? Dozens? Dozens? Maybe the hundreds of objects? Maybe the thousands of objects? So,
yes.
Yeah.
Like the objects that build into a large.
Yeah.
Done hundreds,
Okay.
maybe thousands
Okay.
or something.
Cool. And did you change the way you were making it as you went along to make it easier for yourself? Yeah. So that's being
Not
industrial.
people to help me.
Yeah, no, that's okay. So that's called outsourcing. How to make things more efficient, how to make things more quote unquote perfect. And the industry standard for making the same object, if I were to make this note card with this shape, right? And I had to make 2,000 of these. This is a great example. Are these the same or are these different? This one is slightly more faceted, this one's rounder. The deviation between these two, that's something called tolerance. In tolerance, it can be up to this. This could be a standard, this could be of your quality that you like is acceptable. The industry standard for industrial design is 0.02 millimeters. And that's really small. Do you guys know what a millimeter is about? A fraction of it is what is the standard of objects, any industrial objects. Even these plates, they're all the same, right? They're within 0.02 millimeter.
Does that shift any different?
It does.
Because
it does.
Safety issues or
safety not so much, but material forgiveness. Yes. So actually ceramics is the highest tolerance. It's the more deviance is allowed. But if you think about plastics generally are all the same. And anything engineered, metal, even tighter. How does a clock work? A clock needs to have all these perfect little gears. In 2011, I don't know if you guys saw the news about the Apple China suicides. Mm-hmm. So Foxconn, which is the Apple branch in China, there were a lot of factory workers that were pushed to their limits because they had to work within such a tight tolerance that it was stressing them out too much and they couldn't do it anymore. And I realized that I did not want to be a part of that system. I still wanted to be a designer, but I didn't want to push it to the level where some other person is going to suffer. Basically, machines and people make objects, they use tools. But what if we throw the kind of tolerance thing out the window, and what if we start thinking about using digital machines, but taking a spin on it instead of these perfect tools? What if we just put images in them? This is what's playing over here. The CNC machine is drawing a picture within 0.02 millimeters of itself. But you can see this, the movement, like if this was my hand, if I were to do it perfectly over and over and over again, the movement itself would have been perfect. But because I use a different pen brush, one might be made out of squirrel tail, other bobtail, right? I get a different result. That's really exciting to me that everything is the same but different. Industry is too tightly controlled, but also what I realized in ceramics is that at ceramic factories, a lot of hands are touching these pieces. I've been to Kohler, do you guys go to Kohler? Toilets, sinks, things like that. I've been to their factory. Do you know it's impossible to make a toilet all in one piece? You know that? You can't do it. So there's a process called slip casting where you make a mold. But because of the plumbing that's needed, you have to make everything in separate parts and then put it together by hand. So what's interesting is that toilets are actually mechanical. And I think it's really, really funny. I think it's funny that there's this perception that industrial objects aren't touched by hand, but they need to be perfect at the same time. So I'm kind of just really showing people what industry is all about and how we can manipulate it to be a little bit more playful and efficient. So,
And that notion about toilets is going to occur to me several times a day from now.
it's ridiculous. There are people who wake up or start at 8 a.m. They pour the first molds and let them wait. They have to flip it over. A machine's not doing this. It's all done by hand. They're hand trimming it. And actually, the only thing that's computerized is that they do have a really fancy 7-axis glazing machine. Do you guys bake? Bake cookies? Same thing, if you're making multiples, how do you figure out, do you use like ice cream scoop to get cookies exactly the same? You can cut it by hand, you can weigh them. Really thankful that I've seen this show now in comparison to this calligraphy book because this piece is the exact same proportions as a 21.5-inch iMac. It's the frame is the hardware, and then if you look at these pieces, like this is framed as well, and you look at the proportions, and it's just interesting to see how there's more at the top and bottom and skinnier on the sides, and kind of how this is as well. I think it's just such a fascinating comparison.
But do you know why the top is the different size as the bottom?
Why?
Because this is meant to be the sky and this is the ground. And so they made the top.
It's kind of different from the Western framing scale. They call it like bottom weight, and that's like more aesthetically like pleasing your eyes. So like this kind of framing is like more conceptual, I guess, like related to like sky.
Based on Apple books, their like proportions, everything is like iPhone, tablets, iMac. But if we look at the LG screen, that LG screen has a fairly uniform frame around it. So I could have taken it that way, but I chose to stick within one frame. I wanted something repeatable, but I also wanted a silhouette that was identifiable. And I was looking at these porcelain works called Kosumetsuke, which is a Japanese object that's actually Chinese. It's a Chinese export into Japan, but it's been adopted by Japanese culture as a Japanese object. So there's a translation there, and they were silhouetted shapes of animals with a blue surface to complete the features of the animal. So you would have a fish that, was kind of oval, and then it would have the tail, and then the scales were fit in with blue. My question was, what is a 21st century silhouette? It's just a square with a hole in it, right? That's it. That is my generation's silhouette identified. So I just started with that. Text messages are blue. So I get to use blue and white.